Sarah stares at her computer screen, the glow reflecting off her tired eyes. It's 3 in the morning, and she's been coding for 14 hours straight. Around her, the tech company's office buzzes with similar dedication. Everyone knows they're close to something extraordinary. Their artificial intelligence system, called Genesis, promises to revolutionize human interaction with technology. It can predict human behavior with 98% accuracy, automate most jobs, and make life incredibly efficient. Sarah's code is the final piece of the puzzle. Almost there, she whispers to herself, fingers dancing across the keyboard. Her manager, David, approaches with another cup of coffee. "Sarah, you're a machine," he says, setting the cup down. "This launch will change everything. We're literally creating the future of humanity." Sarah nods absently, but something feels wrong. She's been having strange dreams lately. Visions of empty streets where people walk alone, staring at devices, never making eye contact. In these dreams, efficiency has replaced empathy, and progress has cost them their humanity. "David," she says suddenly, "what if we're moving too fast? What if people aren't ready for this level of automation?" David laughs. "Sarah, you're overthinking. Progress waits for no one. Besides, we're giving people what they want: convenience, efficiency, perfection." But Sarah remembers her grandmother's stories about neighborhood communities where people knew each other's names, where children played outside until dark, where families gathered without screens dividing their attention. Those stories seem like fairy tales now. The next morning, Sarah decides to take a different route to work. Instead of her usual subway ride, she walks through the old part of the city. There, she discovers something unexpected: a small community garden tucked between 2 apartment buildings. An elderly man tends to tomato plants, while a young mother helps her daughter plant seeds. Teenagers volunteer to water the vegetables, and neighbors chat over the fence, sharing produce and stories. "Beautiful morning, isn't it?" the elderly man calls to Sarah. She stops, surprised by the direct human interaction. "Yes, it is. This garden is wonderful. How long has it been here?" "5 years now," he replies, wiping soil from his hands. "We started it when the empty lot became available. The city wanted to build another parking garage, but we convinced them to let us create something living instead." The young mother joins the conversation. "It's amazing how this little space has brought our whole neighborhood together. My daughter has learned more about life from these plants than any app could teach her." Sarah watches the little girl carefully watering seedlings, her face bright with wonder. "What's your name, sweetie?" "Emma," the girl replies. "I'm growing carrots for my rabbit, Mr. Whiskers. Grandpa Joe taught me that plants need love and patience, not just water and sun." Grandpa Joe, the elderly man, chuckles. "That's right, Emma. Some things can't be rushed or automated. They need time, care, and human touch." Sarah spends her lunch break in the garden every day that week. She learns that the community has waiting lists for plot rentals, that crime in the neighborhood has dropped since the garden opened, and that several lonely elderly residents have found new friendships through their shared love of growing things. On Friday evening, as Sarah prepares to input the final code that will launch Genesis, she pauses. Her screen shows efficiency metrics, profit projections, and user engagement statistics. But her mind fills with images of Emma's wonder, Grandpa Joe's wisdom, and the mother's joy in teaching her daughter. She thinks about the choice humanity faces. They could have Genesis, with its perfect predictions and seamless automation, making life easier but potentially more isolated. Or they could choose a different path, one that values human connection and imperfection alongside technological progress. Sarah opens a new document and begins typing a proposal. Instead of launching Genesis as planned, she suggests a modified approach. What if they built technology that encourages human interaction rather than replacing it? What if their AI helped people find community gardens, volunteer opportunities, and local connections? What if, instead of predicting what people want, they helped people discover what they need: belonging, purpose, and genuine human connection? David arrives early Monday morning to find Sarah's proposal on his desk. At first, he's angry about the delay, but as he reads her detailed plan, his expression changes. "Sarah, this could work," he admits, "but it's risky. It might not be as profitable." "David," Sarah replies, "what's the point of advancing humanity if we lose our humanity in the process? We have a choice to make, and that choice will define who we become as a species." The team spends months redesigning Genesis. Instead of replacing human interaction, it facilitates it. The AI connects neighbors with shared interests, helps people find local volunteer opportunities, and even suggests times when friends might benefit from a phone call instead of a text message. When Genesis finally launches, it doesn't dominate headlines with its efficiency metrics. Instead, it quietly begins connecting people in meaningful ways. Community gardens multiply in cities across the globe. Neighborhood friendships flourish. Children spend more time playing together and less time staring at screens. Sarah visits the original community garden on the first anniversary of Genesis's launch. Emma, now a year older, runs up to her with a basket of carrots. "Look what I grew, Miss Sarah. Grandpa Joe says they're the best carrots he's ever seen." Grandpa Joe approaches, his eyes twinkling. "You know, Sarah, I think you and your team made the right choice. Technology should help us become more human, not less." As Sarah watches the bustling garden, filled with laughter, conversation, and genuine connection, she realizes that humanity had indeed stood on the brink of a new era. But instead of stepping into a future of isolation and efficiency, they had chosen a path toward deeper connection and shared growth. The greatest technological advancement isn't always the one that does more for us, but the one that helps us do more for each other. Progress isn't just about moving forward. It's about moving forward together, ensuring that in our rush toward tomorrow, we don't leave behind the things that make us human today.